Hey everybody, this is Brent, the EdTech principal from EdTech.tv. Today's tutorial is going to be a little different than usual in that I'm not going to be doing an in-depth tutorial on one thing, but I'm going to kind of lightly introduce you to a few different things. And so we'll start off with the question, which is, what are the best ways to make the most from browsing experiences as a teacher? A lot of us are always searching the web, always looking for something, but a lot of people don't realize how much the technology has improved for us to make searching and browsing and looking around the web a better and easier experience than we are just given. If we only make a few couple steps, we can really make things much, much easier and much better for all of us. So we're going to take a quick look today at some Google Chrome extensions. Now, I've never done this before, so hopefully it works out, but each of these should be hot linked on the YouTube video. So if you click on one, if you happen to know and just want to come back to this later, if you can click on it here, you should be able to jump directly to that particular video. So today I'm going to talk about a few different extensions, 5 different extensions in fact: AdBlock Plus, Google Quick Scroll, Readability, Spreed, and Voice Search. So instead of wasting a lot of time, all I'm going to say is that extensions are add-ons to your Chrome browser that help you have a quicker or easier experience. And if you want more details, I'm actually going to cover it more this time in the writing on the website. So at edtech.tv/5, that's the number 5 Chrome extensions. Let's get right to it. The first extension that anybody has to have is AdBlock Plus. You can put it onto any of your browsers for the most part, but it does just what it says it does. It blocks ads. So let's say we're going to take a look at a website like Kotaku. And here, when I look at Kotaku normally, this is basically what it looks like. Pretty straightforward, all the information that I want. Notice that there's no ads. That's because I've got AdBlock Plus running right here. And if I click on it, I can see that it's enabled. But if I disable it, if I click here and then I refresh Kotaku, right there, advertisement all over the place, and I don't want all those ads. So so for me, it's definitely worth jumping out of, and so I will click on it again, re-enable it, and any website that I go to, it by default leaves the AdBlock Plus on, so I don't have to see the advertisements that I don't want, and especially if I'm displaying them for my students. I don't know, what site I'm going to. Hopefully I'm checking a little bit beforehand, but I still might not want advertisements even for something like Xbox to show up on my student's page. Next up, I want to take a look at Google Quick Scroll. So let's I've already got this installed, but let's take a look and imagine that I'm searching for something in Google. And I'm going to search for, because it's World Cup season right now, Zidane in the World Cup. And then I've got something here. I'm going to, I could just look up Zidane himself, but maybe I'm looking at this 2006 FIFA World Cup. I click on that. Right here in the bottom corner, it gives me a little bit of information, and it says, as Zidane and Materazzi were jogging up to the pitch close. Okay, so I already know, because of the Google Quick Scroll, this brings up exactly what I want to find in the article that I click on. So if you're looking for something really specific, like let's say you're looking up just Zidane and you go to the Zidane article, then this will not show up because it's not relevant, because the whole article is all about Zidane. This is actually pretty smart, the Quick Scroll. It finds exactly what you're searching for. If you're searching for a term or maybe something that's like a little bit more specific, instead of one general thing that maybe the whole article is about, you're going to find one part of that article and it will bring you exactly to it. Really, really useful, and the more you're using it, you're going to find that it's something that you're going to like having on there. The cool thing is that it doesn't show up when it's not relevant. So it only shows up when you're already doing a search for something that might be specific and might be hidden in the page somewhere. So instead of what I usually used to always do was click on Command F and find and then search for keywords, but this will kind of sort out what you're looking for. So definitely take a look at the Google Quick Scroll. Now, we already talked about blocking ads, but a lot of times websites are still pretty junky. So let's take a look at this article from CNET about this motorcyclist who was going 150 miles an hour. So there's the article, but there's also all this other distracting stuff on the side. There's a little bit of side, advertisements. It's not an advertisement, but it's trying to get you to look at other stuff on CNET, like buttons, all that type of stuff. So for this, I would recommend readability. And when you install readability, you just click on it and you click on read now, read it later, or send to Kindle. Those are all nice options, but we're going to talk about read now. All it does is clean it up and it brings you right to the article with only the core information. So it pulls out the article itself and leaves everything else out. It can be really useful for you just reading, but also for if you're trying to show it to your students and not have them be distracted by other things that might be on the website that aren't relevant, or even if you might have a really good article, but it's kind of littered with inappropriate stuff that's also on the same web page. Look at this. It's just so clean and you can go right to the article itself. So definitely check out readability. In connection to clean reading, if you're the type of person who wants to read a lot and likes to read a lot, but you might not have the time to read everything, you might be interested in Spreed. So let's take a look at how this works. Let's go to the Gettysburg Address. And we'll click on this one. And here's an article about the Gettysburg Address, including the address itself. When you click on Spreed, and you can Spreed the current website, it's going to bring up a speed reading version of the Gettysburg Address. I'm going to pause it here for just a second so that I can explain what's happening. There's new studies that show that reading is easier when the eye is centered on one particular part of the word and you're given one word at a time. So we can be given words at a much faster rate and we have a higher comprehension rate than our speaking. I'm not going to get too into the details of it, but if you happen to be interested in this stuff, you can see how quickly we can actually read this article. So I'm going to hit play for just a minute and you'll see that it'll go much faster than I could possibly speak it. Okay, so that's at a word per minute of 400 word per minute speed. So it's going to tell me that it's going to take 6 minutes to go through this article at that speed. If I wanted to slow it down, I could. It can go down to 350 words. I could go up to 500 or 600. I'm going to write a little bit more about this on the website and give you some interesting links, but for sure, we are all busy and we have a ton of information that we want to read. I definitely think that having Spreed in your extensions can help you out and save you a lot of time, especially as we're rushing to make sure that we get everything in. So check out Spreed, really interesting and kind of a new way of reading. But it doesn't take very long to get used to. So I'll give you a little bit more detail, like I said, on the actual blog. All right, for my last extension, I'm going to cheat a little bit because it's not actually an extension as it's already built into Chrome. But you might not have seen it or you might not have noticed it. It's the little microphone icon right here that lets you speak into your computer, which you can do on your mobile devices, but you might have overlooked it here. So when you click on it, show me a map of Portland, Oregon.
Here is a map of Portland.
And it lets me see Portland right there. Now that's one thing which is nice. You can use your voice just to talk directly to it, but you can also set it up to have the OK Google function where it's just listening for you to talk to it at any time. Now you do have to set that up, which is in the little bars here. Go to Settings, scroll down to Show Advanced Settings, And then right here in the privacy setting at the bottom here, it says enable OK Google to start a voice search. And it says, it's going to be aware that this is basically means that it is recording you. So please, please, please make sure that this is something that's okay for you, that you feel comfortable with it. I don't all the time, and so I would kind of turn this on and off, but this is up to you. It's just something that's really interesting. So you say, okay. Then we're going to go back to Google. And you'll notice that the microphone is now black. That means that when I say this phrase, it's going to start recording for me automatically. So if I say, okay, Google, show me a map of Seattle.
Here is a map of Seattle.
And instantly I'm already set up. So you could definitely see how that would be really useful, especially if you're, using it for students to be ready all the time, if your hands are full with something, which is a very realistic possibility for a lot of teachers. All you have to do is say, okay, Google, and there it goes again. Okay, Google, when is Google's birthday?
According to IBN Live Games, the date September 27th was chosen by Google in 2005 to celebrate its birthday, to coincide with the announcement of the record number of pages that the search engine,
and so on. I hope you can find that interesting and see where you could use it for yourself. All right, so today was a little bit different, and so the homework is going to be just slightly different than normal too. We're going to start off with the first thing, which is going to EdTech.tv/5, that's the number 5, Chrome extensions. I want you to use that one because I'm going to have links and I'm going to have a little bit more exhaustive information on the post itself. After that, I'd like you to follow the links and install the extensions that you like. Now, you might not like all of these. I think you probably will, but you might not like all of them. So if you find ones that you particularly like, make sure to install them and see how they work for you. Finally, share any other extensions with me. That's the really cool thing about Google Chrome is that it's so versatile and it has so many different types of extensions that you might want. So definitely share them with me. The places you can share them with me are on Twitter at EdTechPrincipal, on YouTube at also EdTechPrincipal, and also finally on Facebook at EdTech.tv. Really looking forward to hearing from you guys. This one's a little bit different than I normally do, but I hope it's useful for you as always. If you've stuck around this long, please click on the like button. That really helps me out, and I am looking forward to seeing you guys real soon. Take care.